Hello and welcome back. I'm Sandy with Sandy's Organized Chaos, and it is vlog day today, so happy to see every single one of you. Now, I do have a coffee this morning. Grab it. I have this guy. I did him a couple... My cat's out here. Jack, stop. I do have a coffee this morning. I did this a couple weeks back. I really like how that turned out. Super cute. So I got my coffee this morning. Okay, so last Sunday we worked on this guy. We did the paper and did like the galaxy look and all that. And I said I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do to finish this. And I did get my vinyls in from Courtney's Customs. I used it on my tutorial from Friday. I should go grab that so you guys can see that too. Anyways, I do have my vinyls. I don't know what I want to do with this, so I think I'm going to set this off to the side, okay? Keep thinking about it, because sometimes it's like that, you know? I have something in mind. Hopefully it works out, but this will definitely get done next Sunday with you guys, but there's something else I want to show you guys. Now, last week we kind of went down memory lanes, which brought me to be looking through old photos and all that, and I came across this old photo that I did because I used to paint flowers and stuff when I first started back in like 2018. I don't know. I did like alcohol ink flowers, and it brought me to this specific tumbler. Has sunflowers all over it, really pretty. And I'm like, I should recreate that. I should do that. I haven't done those in so long. I don't know why. I used to paint my own roses and all that on wood grains, which was always a big hit in my shop. Every time I would make those up, they would sell that day pretty much, but I don't really know why I stopped doing it. I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of tedious work having to paint and everything on top of all your other orders you got to do, but they're lots of fun. So I kind of want to do something like that with you guys today. Thinking sunflowers plus the roses. I don't know, hopefully I'm not going overboard with this. We'll have to wait and see. All right, I went and grabbed my tutorial from Friday. There's so many different techniques out there on how to achieve plaid, but I know you guys remember how my plaids have turned out in the past. And I just always find myself coming back to doing it this way. It's just always worked for me. I don't know. Okay, I guess Jack wants to hang out with me. But yeah, I've had some plaids that just turned out absolutely crazy. I know you guys remember my Texas chainsaw one. Like I said earlier, what once was supposed to be, what once was supposed to be a Christmas tumbler is no more. Now it's going to be a Halloween tumbler. All right. It's definitely, it's definitely looking Halloween to me. But then I redeemed myself with the green and gold. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. All right, well, I guess I better go brush my hair and get my day going. We're gonna just have some fun, just doing some painting and kind of relaxing together today, you know. So this should be relaxing. Painting should be relaxing. I'm just, should be, I don't know. Oh, let me grab my coffee. I got my coffee and I'm ready to wake, prep, and slay all day. Let's do this. All right, so I already have my tumbler all prepped and everything. I actually went ahead and how I did this was I prepped my tumbler and I painted the smoky beige color. And then I just did the epoxy method and put agenda right over top of it. And it gives this really beautiful kind of neutral, light nude color, beige, something like that. Anyways. And then, of course, I epoxied it until it's smooth. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take my foam brush here. And I really like these foam brushes because it already has that look of the sunflower petals. So because it has a little point at the tip of it. And I just cut a little piece of that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and dig through my inks. Look at my inks. And I'm going to just choose, I think, Teakwood and Sunshine Yellow. Those are the only two colors I'll be using for my sunflowers. And, of course, I have my rubbing alcohol and I have a little plate for my inks as well. So for the center of the sunflower, because we're going to start with that first, I actually found my makeup sponges that I got from the Dollar Tree. I found them. I had to retrieve them from my child, but I found them. Or you could use a paper towel. Either way, all we're going to do is start off with the very center of our sunflower, and you're just going to make circles, just brown. We're going to take our teakwood and make the brown centers of the sunflowers. So for spacing, I'm just trying to keep mine, I want my sunflowers probably a couple inches wide, so probably about 3 inches wide altogether after it's all said and done. So I'm just trying to make sure that I space these centers far enough apart so that way I could add my petals as well. If not, I mean, it can look like it's just kind of layered on there. I mean, it's really up to you guys on how you'd like to do it. But I'm just going to randomly do up these dots. I'm going to even put some around, curving around the bottom as well. So you just want to fill that up with your sunflowers, leaving just a little bit of space in between because we are going to be adding some roses and leaves and stuff like that too. And for those who have never worked with alcohol inks, they dry really fast, so you're able to move on pretty quick, you know, with what you need to do. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the petal portion of the sunflowers, and I'm just going to dip the whole side of my sponge that we cut off from our angled foam sponge there, and I'm going to dip that down into my sunshine yellow, and we're just going to start dabbing that around in a circle. And I have to make sure that I completely flip my tumbler around as I go, so that way I make sure that my petals are even, because you know you want it to be completely even all the way around. But this is just going to be like the starter base of our petals, so we're going to kind of build on from here after we get the starter petals put on. There we go. And I also want you guys to notice that I haven't used my rubbing alcohol yet, or you know, you don't want to use that yet. You just want to use pure inks for this so far. Okay, we don't want to use any of the rubbing alcohol just yet because the rubbing alcohol will make it dissipate a little bit quicker. So we're just using the pure alcohol ink so far. And I'm sure you probably noticed as well that I am dipping down into the center. That just really kind of, it's going to make that brown kind of leak up into the petals. And again, it's just going to give it more depth and dimension and make it look even more like sunflowers as we go along. And after we get our tumbler fully loaded up with the amount of sunflowers that you would like, we're going to go ahead and move on to giving it just a little bit more dimension. So this is what we have so far. It looks good just like that, but we just want to add a little bit more character to those leaves to make them stand out just a little bit more. I am going to start using my rubbing alcohol now right onto my plate, right into the colors that we used earlier. So I'm actually going to dip my little sponge right into that yellow, and I'm actually going to dip it into the brown a little bit as well. And this is just going to kind of give some shadows in places that we would like it. And again, I'm going to do the same exact thing where I just take it and dab it completely around in a circle right around the center. And you don't want to load this up too much because it will separate those colors because we're using rubbing alcohol. This is whenever it's really going to start kind of blending in and really making those shapes for us. There is a bee in here in my garage with me because I have my door open, and I know y'all can hear it. I got to get rid of this thing. Hold on. It knew we were making flowers. I thought, you know, we were doing so good. I thought it was real. I don't know, maybe. But I'm going to keep going, doing the same thing around each and every one of these flowers. And I am blending it down into the center as well, kind of bringing it up just, again, to give a little bit more shadow and dimension to each one of these flowers. So once I am done, this is what it looks like. You see some of my centers have kind of really dissipated, but that's okay because I'm going to come through. I have a number 4 brush, I think. It's just a little brush. You could even reuse your foam pieces that we're using as well. But I went ahead and I sprayed a little bit of my rubbing alcohol right into my brown section there. I'm going to go ahead and dip my little number 4 brush down into it. I really wanted to show you guys. There you go. See, it was a number 4. I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush down into right where I had my brown located there at some point. Hold on, I want to bring you guys closer, I guess. All right, there we go. Am I adjusted now? Okay, there we go. I'm just going to dip it down in there. I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit because I don't want too much. And I'm going to start building out the center of my sunflowers here. Now, as you guys know, if you look at sunflowers, they kind of have like a light brown spot and then like, you know, darker brown around the edges. And that's pretty much all we're doing. We're just building that center out to give us that look. Now, these are just meant to be whimsical. They're supposed to look almost like watercolors. So I'm telling you guys, I absolutely know you guys can do this. This is an extremely easy project. If you don't feel comfortable on a tumbler, you could obviously maybe use something else to kind of practice on if you'd like to, or if you have a tumbler that you don't really care about anymore, you can go ahead and practice on that first. But this is so very easy, and I definitely know you guys got this. So I had a really great question. I kind of wanted to answer it on here. Somebody asked me back when I would sell my tumblers, did I just make up a bunch of tumblers at once for ready to ship, or did I do where you would do pre-orders for each tumbler? And I did pre-orders. I never did ready to ship tumblers really. I always did pre-orders. And so, the question was, how did I keep track on how to do every single tumbler? And that's, like I said, that's a really great question. And I think it's just because I did them constantly. I had it down to a science, like, okay, I have to do a pink and silver ombre. And I knew exactly where to end on each kind of tumbler you had because I did so many. It's just one of those things is like, as you go, you just know your own formula. But for certain things like this flower tumbler, for instance, in the description I'd always put, because I can't replicate it exactly, or I'd have my non-glittered beaches or my glitter beach tumblers as well. I would make sure to say that it's not going to look exactly like the photo, but I'm going to try my absolute best to make sure that it looks, as similar to my photo as possible. But if you use the same exact product for every single time you do it, it pretty much will look the same. The outcome will be the same almost every single time. Like my non-glitter tumblers, I would make sure that I use the same exact product in the same manner each way. Although it wouldn't look exactly swirly as the next one, it was definitely very similar. So that's pretty much how I kept up with making sure that my tumblers looked as similar to the photos as possible when I would do those types of things. And of course, I would update my photos if I ended up having to use a different type of product, so that way it would look, similar to the new product that I'm using for that particular tumbler. All right, so anyways, here we go. We're moving on to the sunflowers. We did our centers, and I'm going to come through one last time. I'm not taking alcohol to the inks here. I'm loading straight inks on here, no rubbing alcohol. One last time, I'm going to go through and just give it one last thing, a dimension on my petals, and our sunflowers are done. So this part made me really nervous because I really liked it as it was, but I went ahead and I moved on to putting roses on. Now, I accidentally forgot to hit record, but that's okay. I'm going to show you guys how I mixed up my green, and I'm going to show you right now how I do my roses. So as you see a little bit on the bottom, I do go ahead and put on some of the leaves first, so that way I can build my roses over top. So the color that I'm using, and I'm using the same exact brush that we used for the centers of the sunflowers, I'm taking Crimson, and that's another alcohol ink. I'll make sure to put it into the description. It's just straight alcohol ink. There's nothing mixed in with it yet, just like we do. You don't want to use the rubbing alcohol until you're ready to make it kind of disperse. So now all I'm going to do is just give like the outline of the rose. So I have one going here. I'm going to go ahead and build it out until I get it about the size that I would like to. That's why we kept these empty spaces. And then I'm going to go ahead and come through and start dabbing in the middle, and you'll see it kind of give this ring. See that ring in the center that it's giving? That's exactly what we want. That's going to kind of build the look of our rose out. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to go ahead and put another rose right next to it right here. But I forgot to mention, I did not clean this brush. We're just going full force with the brown that was already on there. So it might have given my roses a little bit of a deeper color. So if you rinse your brush out, it might give it a lighter rose color. So that's all we're going to do. So when you load these on, you're just going to let this rose build itself. So the face of it might be a little bit different for the next one. So it's almost like you have to use your magic. This is why I didn't do a tutorial for this, but you almost have to use your imagination, look at it, and see the second one. You see it straight up looks like a rose. You can see it building up. But that other one, it looks like the face is going to be more towards off to the side rather than in the middle itself. But that's okay. We're going to continue to take our colors and just build it up. And as we load up our inks, it's going to disperse these colors, and it's going to give it character. And you're going to start to see that character come alive as you go. But quite honestly, it's a matter of being patient with it, because as you dab these colors on, it's going to like I said, disperse it, and it's going to make it flow, and you're going to start to see the petals and all that. And I think you're going to be pretty proud of yourself because these are extremely simple. I promise you, they really are. You see I'm waving my hand over it because I'm trying to make it dry a little bit quicker because I loaded a lot of ink onto it. And I already did get started on some of my roses on the side. I'm sorry. But we're going to go ahead and start loading up some more roses, and then I'm going to show you guys how I make my green color here after I throw my crimson almost to the floor. So I'm just going to keep going exactly like how I just told you guys. I'm going to build a circle and just dab those colors in the center until it starts to build out those leaves. And then I'm going to come through with some yellow, and we're really going to build out the centers, and that's when these flowers really start to come alive. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep building up my flowers here where I would like them. And as you see, I am overlapping over top of the sunflowers as well. It's completely fine. It's art, you know, however, wherever your imagination takes you, you're going to let it take you there. All right, so while I do this, I have a couple other quick questions I'm going to go ahead and run through. I had somebody ask where I get my coaster molds, and I don't know if you're asking where I get the holder that is in my coaster mold. If you've seen some of my videos and I have this gray thing that kind of holds my coasters. My husband actually built that with his 3D printer. But my coaster molds themselves, I just get from Hobby Lobby. They have like kits of them there. That's pretty much where I get my 4-inch coaster molds. And also other shops sell it as well. You know, almost everybody sells coaster molds as well. So you just look around, maybe do a Google search, and you'll find some little shops that might be selling them too. And I think Etsy is another place as well. You could probably just type in 4-inch coaster molds, and I bet you'll be able to find some in there too. I also had somebody ask where I get my wine bottle sets from my Dawn Power Wash tutorial that I did. I just purchased that through the Stainless Depot company. The Stainless Depot company. There we go. That's pretty much where I buy all my blanks from, but it should have been in the description, I think. But yeah, that's where I purchase all of my Tumbler blanks from. And one last question, somebody asked on my water slide tutorial that I did, what was the purpose of the clear spray? So the clear spray is actually going to give it a coating over top of your image, and that is essentially what is going to latch onto your image and slide off the paper. So without that coating, the ink is just going to kind of float around your water, you know? So once you seal it with your clear spray, that is what's going to adhere the image together, and that's pretty much exactly what you're sliding off of that paper onto your tumbler. So that's pretty much what gives you the clear look. All right, I am finishing up my flowers here. You see, I'm just going through and just swiping around in circles, giving it that floral look. And again, I'm not worried about the center yet. We just kind of want that swirly look around the outside to give it that look of the rose petals. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to, I'm going to show you guys how I did the green color in the back, and then we're going to move on to doing the centers of our flowers. So for the green color, I use 2 colors. I'm going to use Mermaid because it's kind of like a teal color, or it has kind of like a green in it, and it just really helps give us this really pretty green that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to use a little bit of Mermaid, and I'm going to be using a little bit of that Sunshine Yellow that we've been using. I'm going to mix those 2 together, and that's going to give us this beautiful kind of darker green color. And I'm just using my makeup sponge that we use for the centers of those sunflowers, swish it around, kind of dab it into other colors if I want to make it a little bit darker or not. And then I am extremely lightly, I can't even tell you how lightly I'm dabbing this. Just very lightly, just dab, dab, dab. And that's all you want to do is just give it the look of greenery around your flowers or in between your flowers. But I actually like to do this before I put the roses down, but I realized I forgot to press record when I did it, so that's why I'm doing it now. But again, you can always come through and kind of just rearrange things and add as you go. Again, art is your masterpiece. This is your masterpiece. So you just keep going, and you don't want to do too much. You know, you got to learn when to stop. That's another thing we have a problem with, is learning when to stop, because you might overdo it. But you just keep going and building, maybe step away from it for a second, come back to it, you know, just kind of have a fresh mind with it, you know, because I have to do that sometimes as well, or I'll end up doing too much myself. So just lightly tap this around and keep going, and then we're going to go ahead and start building up our centers of our roses. So for the center, this is our finishing moment here. We're taking that sunshine yellow once again, and we're gonna go ahead and take our little brush again with all those colors mixed in it. It doesn't matter because it's all gonna look just fine. We're taking that color as it was and dipping it right into the center of our roses and letting that color completely disperse out the center. And that's gonna really finish off our roses here. I don't know, maybe we're making, what are these, tea roses? Tea roses have more of that like bigger yellow center. I don't know. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. But I know you guys know this, that there is a huge selection of different colored sunflowers, different colored roses. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So you just take this as inspiration and you build from there. I want you guys to always think outside the box, to always remember no matter what, even if you tried, that's amazing, because sometimes you just got to keep working at it, and then one day you will finally get it and you will be the master of that particular thing. So it's absolutely okay to do something for the first time. Don't be afraid to do something. You never know what kind of skills you have. I'm being very serious. I'm okay with art. I always have been. I've always been able to draw things pretty well. I'm not the greatest, so my skill is definitely building day by day, but you know, this is just something that you just got to keep working at, and then someday you will have that skill, but this is something that is completely beginner friendly, and I definitely know you guys got this. All right, so after I'm finished doing this kind of jazzing little things up here and there that I would like to, I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side and let it dry for a little while. I'm going to spray it down really good with my clear spray. Now when I use my clear spray, you make sure you hold that can back about 12 inches from it, okay? You're going to give it a light coating of clear spray. You're going to let that dry. You're going to give it a second light coating of clear spray. And then you go ahead and apply a coat of epoxy over top. That's exactly what I did. Or you can let it sit overnight, however you guys want to do it. All right, well, that was really fun. I enjoyed doing that. When I moved on to my afternoon drink already. I made this a while back too. I'll have to attach me making it, but I really love that design. It was one of my favorite designs to do. I love the colors too. It kind of reminds me of like the beach, you know, like beachy colors. But moved on to my afternoon drink. All right, so I went ahead and I put a coat of epoxy over top of this already. Okay, so this is what I have so far. It still needs another coat. There were some spots that I got to sand down and stuff. But so I guess next week, we're going to be doing lots of vinyl. That'll be our decal day next Sunday. Oh boy. Decal day. I love it. But that's how this turned out so far. So I signed up for Mr. Nola's Glitter. They're doing these subscription boxes for their sticky sheets, if you guys know what those are. It's just vinyl decals that you can put on color. I don't know. I'm going to be getting my first box. I don't know when, maybe next week. I don't know, maybe this week. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm pretty excited for that. And I want to hold off. Maybe I could use something on one of my cups here. And I mean, I still have my stuff we're going to be doing on that one with some of my opal vinyls. Like I said, I have something in mind. Hopefully it looks okay. It kind of looks like my flowers back there. I got two things of flowers going on back there. So my chaos boxes, you guys should be, for those who do the chaos boxes, you guys should be getting stuff in your email shortly stating that it's shipping out, because it's going to be shipping out. Man. Just Jeff helps me out here, and the kids help me out here and there, but you know, sometimes they put my labels on all crazy and I don't like that. I like it look nice, you know what I'm saying? So if you ever get a bottle from me and the label's like crazy, just please keep in mind that I also have my children helping me as well. So I'm sorry. All right, we're doing our best here, but thank you guys so much for all your orders and all that. And I hope you guys enjoy this month's box as well. All right, I think that's going to do it for me for today. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.